old boy with a big mouth, fucking blend right in with a loud ass crowd. Party people coming unwound, gonna open up the throttle when the sun goes down. Ain't heard nothing, so why not turn up the tunes and line up the shots. Take it to the woods when we leave the bar. Can't stop, gotta party like a redneck rock star.
What is up, everybody? We're back with another video. So I hope you guys liked that reaction and had a little fun this morning, because now we're going to get serious. All right, this video is not going to be as much fun, and I'm going to say some things a lot of people ain't going to like, but I don't really care. So in case you've been living under a rock, mass shootings this weekend, spanning 6 states. The left is going to try to make this about gun control. They already are. Best I can tell, the right just wants to completely ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. They're still too busy talking about how Biden's a bumbling idiot, like we didn't figure that out already, and Kamala Harris is in Guatemala trying to deal with a border patrol problem or a border protection problem when the border's 1,200 miles from Guatemala. Root causes. Oh, sure, let's just pump more money we don't have until we turn Guatemala into Cancun so they stay put. 1,200 miles, y'all. That's like walking from Tampa to Cleveland. I digress. Gun violence is up 40% since 2020, 65% since 2019. Now, what you might ask yourself, what changed in 2020 and 2019 that's leading to this problem? A big part of it changed way before that. We're just now seeing the repercussions, and we'll get into that. Another thing that's changed drastically since 2019 is anti-police sentiment. And at least one of these cities, they've already defunded the police, in Austin. In Savannah, there was a shooting 2 days before the mass shooting in the same spot, and nobody would talk to the police. Wouldn't give them any information. Still after the mass shooting, in which a baby got shot, they still won't give the police any information. And economic turmoil, ever since COVID, there's that too, but there's a bunch of little things that are leading to this problem, but the core root of the problem is it's your fault. It's America's fault. Anti-police sentiment is rampant. Type in cop into a YouTube search browser. You're going to get people harassing the cops, people antagonizing cops, people doing this, and I'm not saying there's not bad cops, and I'm not saying those cops shouldn't be exposed. But a lot of these videos are people harassing random people that they have no idea if they're good cops or bad cops or what's going on, and they just randomly start throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks, and even when it doesn't stick, they still air the videos saying, oh, look, pig gets the silent treatment in a cage. Have y'all lost your damn minds? Get rid of our military and defund the police, and let's see what happens. There's a reason there's so much violence in third world countries. But it's deeper than that. It's every helicopter mom and bubble wrap baby that's been born since the mid-90s to the early 2000s, when this whole, oh my God, they can't ride that bicycle, they're going to get hurt. You can't say those things, they're not nice. We're going to give them a trophy even though they lost because we don't want them to feel like they lost. Guess what? They lost. It's reality. That's how life works. There's a winner and there's a loser. And if you lose, you keep fighting and trying and progressing until you're good enough you don't lose. When you give people trophies for losing, there's no encouragement to do better. That's the fundamental problem with the theory of communism. There's no incentive to excel. Now fast forward 15, 20, 30 years. We have a bunch of self-entitled, self-righteous little pricks that think the world owes them something, never been a fight in their life, probably never stubbed a toe. They got their feelings hurt and they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to speak on it directly because they're scared they might actually have to stand up for something that they say or something that they believe in. So it's easier to sit in a car and shoot a gun into a crowd of people because you're a pussy-ass little bitch. Most of these cases, they don't yet have suspects in custody, or at least they have not announced they have suspects in custody. They do have one minor in custody in Austin. They're looking for another. But I will bet you every one of these shooters is under the age of 30. Most of them are going to be under the age of 25, and I wouldn't be surprised if a good majority of them are under the age of 18. This is not a gun control problem. The biggest number rate of this casualty was in Chicago, Illinois. Illinois has some of the strictest gun laws in the country. They're one of 7 states you have to have a permit to own any type of weapon, and one of 5 that has a waiting period. And yet multiple shooters and multiple incidents across Chicago in one weekend. Savannah. They collected 60 shell casings. 60 shell casings. 8 victims. These aren't people that grew up with guns, being taught in gun safety and responsible gun ownership. These aren't even people that know how to aim a gun. How do you shoot 60 rounds and only hit 8 people? I could shoot 60 rounds blindfolded and hit 8 doves. People are a lot bigger than doves, y'all. We need to wake up. China has the largest military they've ever had. Turmoil in the Middle East, chaos in our own country. Shit, there was times last year it was bordering on civil war in the streets. And yet we're breeding some of the weakest, most cowardice people we've ever bred and raised ever in the history of America. I don't want to get too far into this because I'm going to do a video about this specifically because it also goes into how you can pick and choose and take snapshots to support whatever argument you're trying to support. I'm going to point out the inaccuracies of the last half of this quote in another video, but the first half of this quote is the sheik that built Dubai got interviewed. And he said, "My grandfather rode a camel. I drive a Mercedes. My son drives a Land Rover. His son will drive a Land Rover, but his son will once again ride a camel." When they asked him why that was, he said, "Hard times create hard men. Easy times create soft men, and soft men create hard times." I challenge anyone to dispute that argument. Remember, our so-called quote-unquote greatest generation, World War I, World War II, the Depression, Vietnam. Hard times create hard men. That's my rant for the day, y'all. Look, use your head. Get all the facts. And quit bubble wrapping these kids. We owe it to our kids that if something happens to us tomorrow, they've been instilled with the skills, the knowledge, the courage, and the testicular fortitude to get through life, knowing life is hard, knowing that if they keep fighting and adapting, they will overcome. But no one's going to give it to them for free. No one should give it to them for free, and they should never expect it for free. Life is hard. It's going to hurt. If you make it to 30 and you've never had a black eye or a chipped tooth, you're part of what's wrong with this country. Or you're a really good fighter. Till then, y'all, keep your dirty side down and be straight.
Answer to no one.